Hello and welcome back to Against the Storm Overexplained on the official Steam Early Access release. In the last video, we went ahead and went through Tutorial Town number 1, and we are continuing that today with Tutorial Town number 2. Press any key to start. Villagers with low resolve will start leaving, increasing the Queen's impatience. Keeping resolve exceptionally high will grant passive reputation over time. Satisfying your villagers' needs with complex food, homes, and services will increase their resolve. Each species has a different mix of needs. It's hard to please everyone all of the time. Farmers can plant only on farm fields, and those can only be built on fertile soil. Crops are planted in the first season, the drizzle, and harvested during the second, the clearance. Build a farm, harvest grain, and serve some ale in a tavern. Reputation points. You can gain reputation points in 3 different ways: by successfully completing orders, by exploring your surroundings, or by keeping your villagers happy. Orders are very straightforward. You always get at least 1 reputation point for completing them. To gain reputation for villagers' well-being, you have to increase their resolve so that it reaches the reputation threshold indicated by that blue line in the resolve bar. After that, they will start generating reputation points passively. With time, your villagers will become accustomed to their living conditions, and the reputation threshold will increase, forcing you to satisfy more complex needs. To acquire reputation from exploring, you will have to cut your way through the forest to dangerous or forbidden glades and complete the glade events located there. But beware, these events can be challenging at times or might require you to deliver special resources to complete them. Some perks or goods bought from traders can also increase your reputation. So let's take a glance at this reputation area here. As you can see, each species has 8 boxes here that are ways that you can increase their reputation. For one thing, the more of them are sheltered, the better. You don't want people sleeping out in the rain. In addition, each species has their own specific housing that will increase your reputation if you build it for them, and only they will live there. Each species also has at least 1 food that they very much enjoy. Humans enjoy jerky, biscuits, and pie. Beavers enjoy pickled goods and biscuits. Lizards enjoy skewers, jerky, pie, and pickled goods. And then finally, there are some miscellaneous modifiers that you can get by building specific buildings and using specific resources in them. For example, clothing, leisure, religion, education, luxury, and brawling. So the more of those you fulfill, the higher your resolve will be for that species. There is one other thing you can do to increase the resolve of a species. This lighter treatment button will increase the resolve of that one species by 5, but subtract 5 from the others. This can be very useful if one species is doing very poorly, or if you have a specific need because of an order. So we're going to go ahead and choose a blueprint. That's the small farm. Now, last video, I told you that you can't directly have your builders build specific things individually. Like, I can't click on a builder and tell them to build a specific thing. However, what I can do is I can set the priority for each of these buildings, including the pathways. So I'm going to go ahead and make the farm field the farm. I'm also going to make a woodcutter camp, because those are always useful. And because we have some plant fiber here, I'm also going to make a harvester camp. Now, when you click on a build site, there is this priority here that tells you from 0 to 5, how soon do you want them to build the thing? 5 being the highest, 0 being the lowest. I'm sorry, -5 being the lowest. That's new. If you want to increase or decrease the priority of every building of a particular type, for example, these paths, if I just click up to priority 2 and then I click a different path, it's still at 0. If I hold shift and bring it up to priority 4. Now all of the paths have priority 4. But what I really need is this woodcutter's camp to go up first, then the paths, then the farm fields, then the harvester camp. So depending on how much you are willing to micromanage, you can really set the order that you want your people to build in. As we said in the last video, beavers have a 10% chance of doubling their yield every time they gather wood, so it's a great idea to put them there. Our first order tells us to build a small farm and 6 farm fields, so we'll be done with that pretty quick. And again, just like beavers and woodcutting, humans are best at farming or that kind of thing. We finished the order, gaining us a couple more people and some barrels. We now need 2 woodcutter camps, 2 shelters, and that'll get us some parts and some beavers. So we'll start with the shelters there, and we also need to build another woodcutter camp. I'm not being super careful about how I place things because it's just a tutorial town, but layout is important. So this cornerstone either gives us 5 barrels a minute, which we don't really need because we're getting barrels as a result of the orders we're completing, or we can get reinforced tools, which gives bonus goods out of the small farm. We're going to go with that. Fantastic. Our second order is done. We'll pick up some more resources and some more citizens. We now need a trapper camp, and to use that trapper camp to harvest meat. So we'll put the trapper camp out here by these little, what are they called? Slick shell broodmothers. As a reminder, if you hover over any square, it will tell you what resources you can get from that square. So for example, every time I harvest one of these broodmothers, I will get 1 meat and a 40% chance at a leather. With this tree here, I have a piece of wood, a second piece of wood 100%, and that looks like sap, fiber, or eggs at 15, 10, and 5% respectively. Now, I still have homeless folks, so I am going to go ahead and build some more shelters. And we're going to drop lizards into the trapper camp, because once again, lizards have proficiency with anything involving meat. As you can see, our farmers are planting away. That looks like a really good thumbnail image right there. Order is finished, so we're going to get some fabric, some bricks, and some planks, as well as, of course, a reputation and thus a blueprint. Next order is to make a smokehouse and use meat to make 20 jerky in the smokehouse. So the smokehouse is one of our early ways of getting a complex food that can satisfy that demand. So I'm going to set it out there. We'll get some pathways out there. Again, you don't always have to have every building staffed fully all of the time. It depends on what your priorities are. We've discovered another glade with some more fertile soil and some more meat. Not bad. And there is the smokehouse. So you can click on the smokehouse to find what you can make in it, just like any other crafting building. Or you can go to the recipes panel and you can see all of the products you can make or all of the ingredients you can use. If you are running out of an ingredient and you don't know why, this is where you go, because it'll tell you exactly what you're making at any given time. Now, jerky can be made out of either insects or meat, or both. You can actually highlight both so that you get both going at once. We're going to have it only working through meat. And we need 20 jerky. So we're actually going to take these 2 lizards out of here. We're going to replace them with humans. And we're going to put the 2 lizards in the smokehouse, where they gain both proficiency and comfort. Now, this is something I said last video that was slightly inaccurate. I thought that there were no jobs that would give both bonus reputation and proficiency to any of our species. That is wrong. The smokehouse is both a warm environment, which gives these lizards +5 to their resolve. It's also something they're good at, so they have that same 10% chance of doubling their yields. So we're going to start cranking out some jerky as fast as possible. We need 20. And you'll notice that now we are in the clearance. Our farmers have switched from planting their vegetables to harvesting their vegetables. Also wheat. So we'll grab a couple more people, make sure we got 3 lizards in there, and the last beaver we just picked up will stay as a builder for now. Okay, we have now made 20 jerky, so we're going to get that order in. It will give us nets, which will gain us +1 meat every time it's harvested, 20 barrels, and any builder can carry 5 additional items. Plus, of course, we get a reputation, and that means a blueprint for a brewery. Now, we're kind of running out of space because I haven't been super careful about it, but it does look like we've got a nice open area around here. We're just going to move this woodcutter camp. And we'll be able to drop our brewery right here. Now, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to have a tavern to build at some point in the near future as well. So we're actually going to move the wood camp over here and start clearing out this area so that I have space to make my tavern when the time comes. Food. Your villagers need to eat in order to survive. Every few minutes, they will go on break, gather around the hearth, and try to get something edible from the warehouse. If nothing they like is available, like pickled goods for the beavers, they will eat raw food. If there is no food whatsoever, villagers will get 1 stack of the hunger effect. Each stack works as a resolve penalty, and if the resolve of a species reaches 0, they will start leaving the settlement. So you're not going to have any villagers starve to death, but you will have villagers leave if you don't keep them fed. Even if you grow vegetables on your farms, the amount of food you produce will soon become insufficient for a growing population. The solution is to process raw food and thus multiply it, as most recipes in the game yield more goods than raw ingredients used to produce them. Some perks can increase that ratio further, or even generate additional food as a byproduct. So we should start getting some pretty big bonuses to resolve for both our lizards and our humans when they start eating that jerky. See, as you can see, we are gaining +2 bonus resolve for our lizards because of the jerky. Nothing for the humans yet, because they just haven't started eating it yet. Our brewery is complete. Now, if I want to move people around, like I want to move some humans into there, what I can do is I can click on any of these portraits over here on the left, and it will show me all of my workers and what they're doing. So, for example, I can right-click to get these 2 humans out of this trapper camp, and then I can put them into the brewery, and you can see this sort of glowing outline which shows that they are comfortable there, which means they get +5 to their resolve. Humans love making booze. We are going to make sure that we put a couple of these woodcutters that we don't really need anymore back into the trapper camp so that we continue to get jerky out there. Now, it wants me to enable barrels on the recipe here because it can either be pottery, water skins, or barrels. We'll enable all 3 just for the hell of it, even though we don't have them. Oh, we don't want to be making pickled goods or crops. We are only interested in ale. So that's grain or roots and barrels. Our new glade has some eggs and some clay. Nothing super exciting. And we make our way into our first storm. Now, something I want to mention really quick. Just because it's the storm doesn't mean that your farmers are useless. What they're doing now is fertilizing the crops, or fertilizing the ground, so that in the drizzle, when they start planting again, they have a chance to get bonus yields, and that is on top of their extra 10% chance they get for double yields. So it is worthwhile to have farmers on the farm during the storm. Now, we made our 20 ale, so we're going to get some mushrooms, yet more barrels, and some planks, as well as, of course, a reputation, and thus a blueprint. The tavern. Our next order is to make a tavern and serve 20 beer, essentially. When you have ale, then when the villagers take their breaks, they can use one of the ale to gain that leisure bonus. Now, where are we going to put it? Looks like we got space over here. And we're going to need to make some builders available. So what do we got? We'll take that out, that person out. We'll take one of them out. Now we've got plenty of builders. Notice that the lizard's resolve dropped just a little bit when I took the lizard out of the smokehouse, as a result of them being unhappy that they were taken away from a job that they loved. We're going to go ahead and grab efficient brewing, and we will pick up a couple more humans. Trapper's camp has no deposits nearby, which means we'll need to move it to a place where there's more meat, like right here. And we can always connect it with paths if we want a little bit more efficient travel between locations. Tavern's going up. Now, as you can see, the tavern, if you have ale, it will lead to leisure. If you have training gear, it will lead to brawling, which is a service that lizards really enjoy. I do not have enough fabric, so what I'm going to have to do is make a crude workstation, and we're going to have to staff it so that we can start making some cloth out of this plant fiber. Boom, boom, boom. I only want you making fabric. Go. And this building will just stay in its partially completed state until I get the building materials that I need. Now, as you can see, they've made some cloth. I'm actually going to go to this storage here. It's made 4 out of 5. When it gets to 5, it will automatically deliver to the main warehouse, but I need the cloth now, so I'm going to hit this Force Delivery Now button, and one of those people will come and drop off whatever they've got. And as soon as they do that, then we will have the materials for the tavern, and it will be completed. Okay, the tavern's up, so now we can staff it. With all 3 of these slots filled, we get this bonus called Gleeman's Tales, which gives us a +3 to global resolve, and you only get that if all 3 of these positions are filled. Note also that if I had another tavern, I couldn't also get Gleeman's Tales there for another +3. Bonuses from the same building do not stack. So now, as our people start to take breaks, they should grab some beer, change that into leisure, and that should increase our global resolve. Oh, we have newcomers. And as you can see, now our humans are generating us reputation as well. We are gaining 0.19 reputation per minute just for having very happy people. New glade with some eggs and some clay. Almost done with a place for rest order. That's that. So we're going to get some tools, yet more barrels, a couple of beavers, as well as a reputation and a blueprint. We have the most beavers, so we'll pick that up. We don't really have any planks, though, and it doesn't matter because we're almost done. In fact, this reputation wanted us to keep our humans resolve above 25 for 30 seconds. We already did that before getting the order, so it's instantaneously done, and that finishes our second tutorial settlement. We gain 80 experience points, which gets us up to level 2. We gain access to new citadel upgrades, the Rain Collector, a paved road which is made out of stone and grants an increased speed to villagers, the Herbalist Camp, and then some cornerstones that we can sometimes pick up in-game. This one increases my meat production. This one lowers hostility from woodcutters. We'll talk about hostility later. And this one means that all houses have room for one more villager, making it easier to house everybody. We also got 10 food stockpiles, and we unlocked the Shelter, Makeshift Post, Blight Post, and Hydrant. We'll definitely be talking about those 2 in a future video as well. The world is a vast, ever-changing place, and at its heart lies the smoldering city. Your goal as a Viceroy is to help rebuild it and secure the future of the Queen's subjects. Use the resources you've gathered so far to construct the Obsidian Archive in the Smoldering City. So we're going to click on the Smoldering City. Now, we're not quite at deeds yet, although I think we will be in a moment. We're going to go to Buy Upgrades. And you'll see we've got this very extensive tree of upgrades that have both level requirements and resource requirements. There are 3 resources: food stockpiles, machinery, and artifacts. You can get those just by playing through the game as normal. For now, we have 20 food stockpiles, so we're going to start with the Obsidian Archive, level 1. You gain a permanent -2% to the speed at which the Queen's Impatience grows, always nice, and also it unlocks deeds. So we'll unlock that. And then we still have 10 more food stockpiles, so we have to choose between these other 2. We can gain another -2% to the speed at which the Queen's Impatience grows, as well as 10% more Citadel resources when you finish a settlement. We're probably going to go with that, but let's take a look at the other one. Everlasting Flames. You gain a +2% permanent bonus to burning duration for all types of fuel burned in the hearth. So the fuel will last a little bit longer, which is nice, as well as this stone and clay embarkation bonus, which means you will be able to start a new settlement with either stone or clay already in your inventory. I am, however, going to go with Obsidian Archive level 2. Now we have access to deeds because we have that Obsidian Archive. And what deeds are basically in-game achievements that allow you to get some reward for doing something. So for example, discover 10 glades, gain 50 XP. Win the game in the Royal Woodlands biome, 50 XP. Some of them also will reward you with things like new buildings or new perks. This world is governed by the eternal Blightstorm cycle. It is almost upon us, so no caravans are allowed to embark. Click on the button in the lower right corner of the screen to finish the cycle. So it gives us a little bit of stats about how we did. We gathered and spent 20 resources, we unlocked some Obsidian Archives, we got to level 2. Now we're going to end the cycle and move on. And as you can see, all of our previous settlements have been wiped out, and we start fresh. You're almost ready to venture out on your own. Choose any map tile inside your embarkation range to begin, but that, my friends, will be for another video. Thank you very much for watching Against the Storm Overexplained, and I will see you next time.